Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God, my heart just kind of sank. Oh my freaking gosh. Okay. Let me tell you something. First of all, I just watched a YouTube clip. Um, I just watched a YouTube clip, you guys. And on this YouTube clip, they were talking about in the news how a 20-year-old girl was, you know, unalived, okay? And she was unalived by a person who they have a nationwide watch out, so that's how bad this was, right? And the person could possibly be fleeing to Mexico, Texas. And it's so funny how the news has Mexico forward slash Texas. Those ain't the same things. I don't know why they did the forward slash. I mean, again, it could have been because he's headed in that direction, is what they think. But those aren't the same, I'm just, it's almost as if they put an image out so people would think those are like simultaneously like the same thing. That's crazy. They're not the same thing. And to use a forward slash was off. It didn't make sense. It's either Mexico or Texas, and or the direction of Mexico in Texas. It is not Mexico forward slash Texas. Okay. I don't know. Listen. Okay. So the poor girl lost her life to this man who they had a very difficult time. I'm sure that girl well, maybe she's Spanish, so never mind. I was going to say something, let me just be quiet. But she rolled her R on that one. It was a lot of R's. I mean, it was a R roll, and the guy definitely looked like he did not belong in well, I can't say that. That's not nice either. But he very well could have been headed towards, Mexico and Texas, right? Now, that's a sad story. It's a scary story, especially if it was one of the migrants that have come over, right? Because that's scary. Okay, to know that, and what was the circumstance, right? What was the circumstance? I would like to know. I don't really want to know, but I'll be watching if it ever goes to trial. We'll see. As far as these migrants, so it's crazy because right after that, I watched another clip, and that clip inspired me to do this video. Okay, because I'm actually pretty I don't know what to say about Colorado. And the only reason why I care is because I was once in that position. Could you imagine? There was a time, let me tell you guys something. There was a time where being homeless in Colorado, you pretty much lived, I mean, I guess maybe they still live a life, but this is no life that they're living. There were tons of Section 8 vouchers. Everybody was handing them out like candy. You could get Section 8 housing anywhere. Like, I remember that kind of life, man. And let me be clear, that's when you're dealing with a lot of homeless people. They were still homeless people, but um your youth and your adults were kind of separated in that way. So your youth were like your hidden homeless, the adults was obvious homeless, right? But they were in different parts of town. Sometimes youth had to go in that town, but the homeless were never like scary, right? It's wrong to say it like that, and maybe I just need to go, and I don't know that I need to go down nowhere, but um these people had the nerve. Let me There was a time where you could be homeless, let's put it this way, and getting assistance and service was very easy as an American citizen. Okay? So this clip says that they dropped off 163 migrants in Denver today. And then yesterday it was like 100 and something migrants. But like high numbers like that, so damn near like 400, maybe, give or take. What? Wait, 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 wait. So you mean it? And then wait, here's the kicker. It's not that they're just bringing them in, okay? The news and these white people. See, this is why I believe that there's a covert level of racism going on. And I say racism, maybe classism, maybe it's classism. I don't know. Maybe it is classism. Maybe that's what it is. Listen, I don't know. Because I'm about to get real on y'all's asses. Tea I've been getting, okay? I'm listen, I have officially I didn't assimilate, but I'm learning from. I need to learn, pay attention because these people had the nerve to say, and the reason why I say nerve is because the newscasters blow my mind that they just say shit the way that they say shit. And it's not like you be wondering, like, they don't react to it, they just say it. And some of the stuff I be thinking, like, do they know, like, this might be in their own backyard? Like, did they check that out? Did they, I mean, you know, like, did they do the research before they started speaking, or do need like? I'm curious. I'm not a newscaster, but do they know what they're saying before they say it? Like, they turn into like complete robots, you guys. And I'm just wondering, like, how do you read some of the stuff or say some of the stuff without reacting? And that's a big deal because they're saying it in a manner that makes the brain kind of assume that this is okay. This is the right thing to do. But it's not. And I haven't even told y'all why I did this live yet. So here's my thing, right? Colorado went from being this like this town. I say amazing, but it was different. It's not the same. It's like everything came in, I don't know, it just feels like everything is like very corporatized, and you gotta sign your name on the dotted line. When I was homeless, right, and I was homeless for a good 7 years, okay, and I learned a lot from it. I had roommates. I had to, keep finding. I just hated it. I didn't like not having a roommate. I need a camper. If I had a camper, yo, in a truck, I'd be chilling. I'm a little jelly of my old roommate right now because I'm like, man, that's kind of the life. And he's retired. So it's just him and his dog and his truck and his camper. And I'm just like, that's actually a level of freedom. Like, it just feels like it's a level of adventure that takes you away out of the whole matrix thing, okay? Because it is it's a system. I don't know how to explain it when you really look at it. In Colorado, when I was homeless, it was easy. So let me tell you guys something. I was homeless when I was real young, so I for a little brief time, and I had my own place, but I was homeless at the same time, and that's a different story for a different day. Um, but it was very easy to move and navigate and obtain benefits and the stuff that I needed to get back on my feet, right? So in my lifetime, I probably had, well, maybe one, maybe two Section 8 vouchers, but the first Section 8 voucher wasn't for very long. And then the second, if I had it all at all, I don't remember because I was working very young. And then the second voucher I didn't have for as long as I could have had it, which it was a lifetime voucher. But by the time I had, really got into that, so I was maybe 3 years into that voucher, and I started to realize all my friends were saying that, it was very hard and difficult to find Section 8 housing, okay? Where prior to that, it wasn't difficult at all. Section 8 was everywhere. Like, even if they didn't accept Section 8, you could talk them into accepting it. That's how easy it was. And I know I wasn't that, I'm not that old. I'm not old at all. So when I'm really looking at the situation, right, and we're really thinking about this, right, it's very difficult. If it was difficult then, it's definitely difficult now, right? To for the average person. Let me tell you what things have become now. See, because before, all you had to know was somebody. Do you understand me? I never had to go through these channels that people have been going through. All I had to know was somebody who knew somebody who could get me connected with the right person who could give me the resource I needed. Does that make sense? Now it ain't the same. Okay. And as an adult, maybe it's because, I mean, I was an adult going through this last experience. But it ain't the same. I remember having my daughter, like I told you guys the rules, right? In order for me to get assistance with housing, right? I had to have my daughter in my care, what, 50% of the time? And, or excuse me, with her for 50% of the time, which that's, in my opinion, that's reasonable. But for myself, it was if I needed assistance this last time around, I had to physically be homeless. So, meaning that you either had to check in at one of these little daycare centers for adults, or you need to show that you're like critically homeless. So meaning that you being on someone's couch, that ain't realistic. That ain't what it is. You gotta be homeless. This is why I wonder if that's why there's so many homeless people too, because that is the actual way the system is set up now. So when I was homeless, quote unquote, but I had a roommate, because in my mind, that's still homeless. I don't know unless you're really with your roommate for a very long time and it's just y'all. I'm not talking about people in and out the house, so, roommates that turn over all the time. I'm talking about a roommate that's steady and y'all know y'all are paying bills and y'all are going to be doing it for a certain amount of time. That's different. But these people that be turning it over roommates and shit, nigga, them folks is homeless. I was homeless. As many times as I had to move, I'm not a fan of moving every 30 days. I'm not a fan of moving whenever somebody feels like they just want to make me move. That's not like my thing. And I understand doing the roommate situation and it's so much cheaper, but I don't have the patience. I will listen, I'm not spending I would much rather spend what I spend now for the sake of my peace, my sanity, and my peace. Do you understand me? But let me be clear. In that time, in order for them to give me assistance, and I needed to be physically homeless. And I'm not talking about food stamps and all that, because food stamps is easy to say you're home. Well, I'm not gonna give y'all no game, but let's be clear, that stuff is a little different. I'm talking about housing assistance, rental assistance, the things that you actually really need assistance for that are gonna help you to get to where you need to be. Those things. So it makes me wonder if a lot of people are quote unquote homeless for the sake of the assistance and the benefits now. Because they've really made it a thing where you have to be on the streets. And it's like, nah, man. I mean, if I'm couch surfing, I'm not necessarily on the streets. And maybe I don't got time to be checking into these daycare centers. Like, let's keep it a buck. It's not that I don't know how to go look for a job. I just need a roof over my head. So can you imagine how many people are being turned away as a result of not meeting the criteria of being chronically homeless? That's crazy. And again, you got there few who know somebody who maybe knows somebody who. But in my opinion, having to do all that is doing too much. Because eventually them somebodies, I mean, how many somebodies are there gonna be? How many times is it that you're gonna be able to run into them somebodies? Which brings me to my next point and why I'm doing this live. Okay. Do you understand? I don't know what's going on with Colorado. I don't know what's in the water. I don't know what the hell these people are thinking. Okay. And this, again, like I said, the newscasters, I don't know how they're just sitting in front of danger talking about, and they just do it with such a straight face. Like danger is like 3 feet away, possibly. They don't know because they can't see, but they out there doing their little news live, and it's crazy to me. It's like they don't think. I mean, maybe they think enough to repeat some shit in a perfect way, but do they really think that? Like, I would love to sit with a newscaster and be like, "Do you think about what you say before you say it? Like, do you think what you say? Do you think about what you say as you say it? Like, I'm curious. Like, how do they shut off? Like, do they think about it? Because this is what these motherfuckers told us today. Okay? And I'm actually not taking this lightly. I really feel so. This is why, see, I say I got to get up out of here. The reason why a part of me feels like I should stay is because we are this city in the sky, okay? And so if you can imagine, you see so many references to the city in the sky, okay? And a part of me is like, if this stuff is really about to go down, I just want to be in the spot that I know I'm gonna be like, I have the potential to live a maybe even better lifestyle. Like, like if I was in the Hunger Games, I would not want to be the people outside of the Capitol, man. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. My personality don't fit for that lifestyle. I'm not cut out to just be in no ring trying to with other people attacking me and or lining. I don't, my anxiety doesn't work out that way, dude. I could not do it. I say I could, but bro, I could not do it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to be the girl on the other side that has to make that decision about your life, because that is really, I know it sounds crazy, but that is mentally how I'm built. I mean, not that I want to make a decision about anybody's life. However, if it's me or them, it's me, god damn it. And I'm gonna find a way to not have to live hard, right? I don't live a hard lifestyle. So I'm just saying. So I think about things like that, right? And so part of Colorado, you guys, and I say this all the time, we've got a lot of things here that would make this a very interesting location for things to come, okay? Including the mountains, right? But then again, I don't know. Back to what I was saying. These people had the nerve to tell us they giving these folks housing. Okay, I let me back up. They are going to close down one of the migrant encampments, I guess. What, I mean, I thought you only camped encampments. Like, come the fuck on. Like, that shit's weird as fuck when they say this shit. Okay, but that's cool. They're gonna close down an encampment and build two new shelters. Two new. Did you hear new? We got tons of Americans out there on the freaking ground in Denver, Colorado. I mean, actual Americans out there homeless. The migrants get two new shelters. And I say new, I just, you know. Now, meanwhile, you got streets filled with Americans. No new shelters being built. Not that I heard last time I checked. But for the migrants, they're going to build two new shelters. I just, let that sink in. Not only are they going to do that for the migrants, these migrants are going to work to earn housing. Housing. Do you guys, these people said housing. They said housing. I let me tell you, if I was homeless right now, I would be livid. If I was a person, actually, if I was a person that was couch surfing, and struggling to get support, because you guys got to understand too, once you make above a certain amount of money, you phase out of a lot of support too. So by the time you blink and you really start making an income, you don't qualify for shit. But these migrants are about to get housing. They're going to work towards housing, housing and employment. Now I can see the employment. I told you guys that was going to come, right? Because again, you guys are playing, we're now playing on a global scale. Everybody's fighting for this one glimpse of America, right? But it seems like we got a president and an administration right now that's throwing a temper tantrum because they losing, right? And so they're willing to throw in the towel any way they got to. You see what I'm saying? They're not going to go down without a fight. And that's just the reality of everything. Now, with that being said, you've got a country that is still lacking many very employees, by the way. We're not, unemployment has not, like, y'all gotta understand, it's very still difficult. Very still difficult. I don't even know if that's proper English, but y'all know what I'm saying. I believe that a lot of these migrants are going to start taking up some of them places. You remember somebody was telling me, and it's true. McDonald's used to be black people. Wendy's used to be black people. Wherever you would go, you would see black people. Now, so a lot of these places are not black anymore. You're going to start to slowly find these folks integrated into the workforce to almost replace, those at the very, very bottom. Does that make sense? And then for everybody, right, it puts one, us at a level of danger because we really don't know who the fuck is coming in the country. Hence the little girl that I told you the story about. She's 20 years old. She done lost her life. Like, that's sad. Apparently one was American, and I mean, they don't do nationwide searches just for anybody. Maybe they do. I don't know. But my assumption is one could have been American because in that side of town, there's nothing but Mexicans. But that don't mean they're not American, especially the young ones, right? And I guess, I mean, I don't know that they're all legal either, so I don't want to say that, right? But I'm just saying, I don't do undocumented and documented over here. It's illegal versus legal. um, but these people, I just, and then, so let me tell y'all something, okay? Because I really wanna, I just been sitting back going, because I was told the other day, right? I was dealing with someone who I genuinely believe, because there's a different kind of person out here, okay? In terms of when we're talking about races, right? It's a different type, okay? And what I mean by different type is these people, they'll associate. I wonder if they would a blackmail. I wonder what that's about, right? And I know I'm a pretty woman, so I can't even say that. I can't really say that. But my thought process about a particular individual that I know of is that I always got the feeling that they really didn't really like me. It's not that they didn't really like me. I feel like they have a personal prejudice, right? Of certain types of people, certain biases and opinions. And what I was told about this person, right, is that they vote liberal due to all of the social programs. And I said, well, that's a cute way to put it because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, that's a easy way to cop out. Like, that's an easy way to make it sound like you're for the people, right? But again, we got a different kind of person, people here. Not everybody, but a good amount, right? Good enough to, make policies. You've got majority of your homeless Americans, black, brown, And again, I'm not talking about the people on the streets because there's a whole other hidden class of homeless people that people don't see because they're busy working, they're busy paying freaking roommates a fortune just to stay in one room, right? It's a whole class of people that are homeless that are not documented. That's where we'll use that term. That's a proper way to use it, right? Those are the people that you give the money to. That, and this is what I mean by that. The types of homeless we got now are strung out. Like I couldn't imagine just being homeless right now. Well, if I was homeless, I would have to be by myself. 1000%. Like I've done it before. This ain't nothing new. And God would send me people every now and then, maybe some to, ruffle up my feathers and wake me back up. Some that, lulled me back to sleep. It was a very interesting, journey for me. But I just, I'm having a very difficult time with this. Like the social programming thing. When you see that you got a lot of black and browns at the very, very bottom, and those are your Americans, and we just gave them a bunch of legal tools to do all the drugs that they want to do because that was a brilliant idea. We've now reduced them to absolutely nothing because these folks have absolutely nothing. So these folks have become almost like a guinea pig system for those who are ushering this stuff in, right? Hence why they keep paying them all this money, right? We're going to test our tiny houses on you guys. We're going to test our jail cells, but in little encampments for you guys, right? Because that to me, that them look like concentration camps. I mean, they're not, but they look like it. What's a box? Okay, the box keeps me safe. I hope so. I would hope them doors lock like hell. What the fuck is a box? Like I'm being inside a box? Like what am I can like and no shade to people who do the tiny houses. Some of them are pretty cool. I kind of live in like a tiny, I mean, it's not a tiny house, it's an apartment. So I mean, tiny is expected, but it's real tiny. It's tiny. I don't got a hallway. Let's that's how tiny it is. I'll not explain it. But it's, I mean, it's decent size. I don't know. But tiny houses are very interesting. Some of them are upscale, and those I don't mind. But I'm not for no box. Like you ain't put me in no box, homie. I would much rather work and find a way to pay for a hotel room every night, even though that's expensive, and or find a roommate, even though, I would much rather be in neither situation. But you got your blacks and browns at the bottom. Okay. They told you that the majority of homeless on our news here in Denver were blacks and browns. Okay. Then you got a whole set of people that ain't even from here, ain't never been here, ain't never walked this ground, but we just ushering them in with on buses. You don't mean to tell me like all this is preparation for these folks to come in and move in and take over, where it's almost like they believe that they can civilize some of these folks, like they can Americanize. It is really a thing. Now I'm starting to realize that. If we just bring them over, they'll, the bad ones weed themselves out. And apparently it's worth the population because it's population control. So if a few of them take them out, then why not? That's really, I swear to God, that's how they're moving. And it's scary. You got man, these people are stupid. Listen, I'm trying not to say race, colors, skin colors, but god damn it. These people are like out of their minds. And the way they say, "Oh yeah, we're just giving to the social programs because that's what we do. It's, people are in need, so we have to help out and show our support." I'm not getting it. I don't know why we're helping migrants. I mean, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not helping no homeless person. Let's keep it a buck. That I know for a fact ain't doing nothing to get to where they gotta go. I might give you a sandwich. I might give you, I don't know about money, but I might give you something. So maybe a hat, maybe a scarf. Like I may donate. That types of stuff I don't mind doing. But I'm not giving no house to like no some of these homeless people. So I get it. I get it, but I'm not gonna give to somebody outside of my house too. That's not gonna work. If anything, I'm gonna work to clean these streets up. There need to be social programs to get these people, and I'm not talking about these BS nonsense ass. Oh, we're gonna get them off the streets. We're gonna move this encampment here. Well, if you can build 2 new shelters for migrants, you could be building that for the Americans that you're moving from one encampment to the next. Like, I'm not understanding. They should have been did that. They should have did that in COVID. They should have been did that. Or right after COVID, something. They're gonna do it for for the migrants and then give them housing. What did they do to earn housing? Like, I'm confused. So, is the liberal agenda just to help everybody, like, no matter where you're from? Like, that must be the thing, because I'm not getting it. Meanwhile, you got those at the bottom still suffering. Explain it to me, Sway. Like I said, I've not, maybe one of my neighbors, I think, is a migrant, right? Maybe. But they speak English. So I don't know if that changes the name of the game. They look like one, but maybe they're not, right? They drive a nice car, so you would think like they're government. I almost think like they're a government worker. I Googled it. I don't know. But they look like a migrant, but they're married, so I don't judge them. Because you got kids, you should be fine. If anything, you be safe to be around. But I don't think I've ran into one yet. And thank God I have not. From what I hear, they're not all nice. And I don't know what Denver's thinking. Like, you got some of the smartest people here, but I think it's a political move. I think there's an intent behind what's happening. I don't know why we're issuing, I don't know why we're sending people where we have no room for them. Like, it's almost like it's intentional to crowd the streets with homeless people. And I'm not understanding why. That's an intent. Like, I don't, how does that benefit like, you got wealthy people, like low key in Denver, everywhere in Denver. How does any of this shit help Denver? And when I say wealthy, okay, let's say high earners. Everywhere you go in Denver, you could go into one bad neighborhood and be right in an affluent neighborhood, right back to back. Like, that's literally everywhere you go in Denver. You may have some areas that are, low income, and then right next to it is an affluent neighborhood. Like, that's just, there's literal mansions in the city, like right here, you know, and you be like, I mean, it blows your mind because you're like, what the fuck? Like, how did that happen? But it's everywhere in the city. So how the hell? Why are these? I'm confused. What is the end goal? It has to be classism. What is the end goal of? It's like a Hunger Games kind of. What's the end goal of keep voting for this shit to come into play? Like, can we just build a mental institution? That's what needs to happen. We need to go back to those things. We need to build one. And unfortunately, maybe put some people through some serious training. I don't know how you're going to find non crazy people to work on crazy people. That's going to be interesting because most of them folks was crazy too. But they need to come up with a solution that's long term where they can just put all these people. And if if something happens, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I just know bringing in loads of migrants is not the freaking answer, bro. And I'm only saying this. My heading was a bit of a like, y'all. I don't know that it's much of a crisis for my life right now. Okay, and I thank God that it isn't. However, I easily see how this could be because they just dropped them off. They said 100. It's like 400 of them that they dropped off in the middle of the city. And I'm thinking, I know that city, y'all. I know the city. So where the hell did they drop them off at? Crazy. It's crazy. So let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. With that being said, y'all, I'm out. Peace.